Muy buenos días. I'm sorry. Completely. Let's start over. I am so used to do a lot of work in Spanish that my mind just went on in Spanish. Sorry for that. So we're starting all over. So thank you for being here. I'm Janine, and maybe some of you know me. Maybe some of you have never seen me. So I just want you to know that this is my first YouTube live seminar. So I will have to switch my brain because, like I said, I'm so used to work in Spanish, sometimes in French, and so for some odd reason, my brain was still in Spanish. So sorry for that. Uh, Here I am, and I don't intend to stay too long. In 30 minutes or less, I will try to explain 30 years of work. Now, the title of my post was, What Would You Do If You Were Not Afraid? If you had no fear. But before going there, I would like to tell you a little bit of who I am. I'm French Canadian, but I live in Costa Rica for about 30 years, if not more. And I started teaching yoga 30 years ago here. And I also, at the same time, started developing a therapeutic work that is entirely based on yoga psychology. And of course, being a French Canadian, living in a Spanish country, and have worked most of my life in English. So, of course, I will be making mistakes in all the languages because sometimes I'm looking for a word and it comes out in a different way. Now, I'll give you a very, very short idea. I was born very far up north in the province of Quebec, the very last village. I grew up there, very cold place during winter time, but I moved to Quebec City around 12 years old. And at 14, I nearly won a national contest on young astronauts. Yes. I wanted to explore space, and life brought me to something completely different. I started exploring inner space. It's been my passion since very young. It is strange. I was not really raised in a how would I say, an environment that was propitious for that. And at 18, there is a book that came into my hand. And I'm sorry if you are from India, and because I'm not going to pronounce it very well. That book was called Jnana Yoga by Swami Vivekananda. That book really set me on my path. And basically was the very, very root of my whole work, even though I didn't recognize it at that time. And I want you to know that around 32, I started started a very intensive practice in yoga, the Kripalu yoga tradition. And I started also a very intensive training with a very specific, special woman seer, an energy teacher. And I was 4 years with her in Montreal. Why am I saying all that? Because you have to understand the basis, how I came to develop the work that I've been doing for so many years, and why do I talk about fear being the source of all suffering? Honestly, it's 30 years again that I help people go to the very root of a problem. And I don't care what the problem is, I don't focus on the problem. I'm helping them go to the root, and that root is always in the subconscious mind. Now, for about 15 years, I used to call it, I work with cellular memory. But you have to understand that a long time ago, whenever I was saying I'm working with cellular memory, which in Sanskrit is called the chitta, and again, maybe I don't pronounce it very well, the cellular memory, because your mind is in every single cell, and there is not 1 second of your life, not one thought, one emotion, one action that is not recorded in your cellular memory. So that's what I was doing. I was exploring, searching for many, many years to even try to understand what I was doing. And that work definitely brought me to the realization more and more and more that fear was always behind everything. Fear creates the head body split, which I like calling it the head body split, because the body where the emotions are located is not connected with the mind, because the mind is extremely restless, and the mind always will create stories based on perception. When you shift this, when you manage to shift your perception, you automatically shift your vibration, and you automatically shift the reality that is around you. I always like to be as simple as possible. Yes, I've read a million books, not a million, but many, many. But more and more, what happened is I connected stronger and stronger with my own intuition. And it is my intuition that guides me when I'm helping a person to dive into their own subconscious. I don't buy much into stories. I don't ask for many stories, because that head body split has happened for a very, very deep fear. And I wrote many, many years ago, where your deepest fear lies, your greatest talent hides. And I did it because it's my own experience of what I've lived for a long period of time, at least 30, 32 years of my life. I was super rational. I would not connect with my emotions. I know a lot about the head body split. And the fact is that being a multiple Pisces in astrology, I'm all about emotions, and I'm all about the cosmos and what is going on. But I was rejecting it until I started studying, training with that teacher in Montreal. It was quite intense, I can assure you. And what happened is that we lost touch. We lost touch with that intuition. And intuition is entirely based on the witness consciousness. And the whole yoga tradition that I've studied, and please understand, and I always tell all my students, I know this, even though it's 30 years of practice and teaching and studying, I know this in yoga. It is such an extraordinary culture, teaching, knowledge that it probably would take many, many lifetimes before knowing a lot of it. So, the witness consciousness. Why? Because more and more you can move into the witness consciousness, which was the base of my own Kripalu Yoga tradition. More you move there, more you move into self observation without judgment. And many great masters have said self observation without judgment is the highest form of spiritual practice. Very often people think that they need to sit down for hours, doing a mantra, and which is beautiful. I mean, I have nothing against, doing mantras or chanting. I love everything. But the truth is, the highest spiritual practice is self observation without judgment, and it is not an easy one, I can assure you. But when you get there, more you get to that self observation, more you enter into the love, because love is the opposite of fear. There is no other energy that will erase, transform your fear. And that's why I always tell people self love is the greatest healer. Now, many people have a hard time with self love. They think it's being selfish. It is not being selfish. It's about feeling that love for oneself, which automatically can radiate out. All those years that I talked about the cellular memory, I was often mentioning the name of a doctor, Dr. Pert. It took me years to understand that it was a woman, and her real name was Dr. Candace Pert. And Dr. Candace Pert was an extraordinary specialist with the whole brain chemistry. She's one of the one that discovered the neurotransmitters. But also in an interview with Bill Moyers, she said, as a scientist, I am not allowed to use the four-letter words that start with S, but I believe this is where we have to go. In those days, she meant the soul. Now I'm coming slowly to why I call my work. For many, many years, my website was called like that, Stressful to Soulful. Now, she said that, and she also said the mind is in every cell. People put so much energy into the mind, the conscious mind, and they forget that the mind is in every single cell of our body. So, what has the fear to do with all that? I'm coming to that. What has the fear to do with the soul? Stress. Stress is said to be the cause of nearly all disease. But I say, what is the cause of stress? Because for me, stress is an effect. It's not a cause. It's a manifestation. And everybody easily say, oh, it's because I'm so stressed out. But the fact is that the stress is happening because something else. And that something else is never outside of you. It's inside. It's in between the two ears. And I call it the fear. We are so disconnected, not only from the body, but from our soul, that the energy gets accumulated here and it becomes overwhelming. And the mind will constantly create fear because it feeds on it. I'm sorry to say that, but this is how I see it. Okay. So, what do I do? All those years, either in a yoga class or in a private 2 hour session or with a group of people giving a lecture or whatever, my goal is to open doors, to reestablish the connection between the body, the mind, and the spirit, which is the exact definition of yoga. I always tell people yoga is not about putting your leg behind your head. Yes, postures, and I've taught postures for 30 years, yoga postures and all that. It's fantastic, but it has to be done with the real, the real goal behind, which is reconnect. And that reconnection happens between the body, the mind, and the spirit with one fabulous, extraordinary tool that everybody kind of forget about, and it's the belly breathing. And I've been saying it for 30 years. I'm not talking about advanced practice pranayam. No, I'm talking about abdominal breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, the way a baby breathes, a young child breathes. That is absolutely extremely important. And in my YouTube channel, you will find some videos there that explain about that. It's the tool that will calm your mind, that will stop your mind saying that you're in danger. I absolutely tell you, if you want to lower your level of fear, anxiety, worries, which is all the same, you know, please start your breathing to do breathing correctly. It is so, so, so important. What I do, I open door to your true intelligence, to your inner guru, which is called the Jnana. You know, the book that I read at 18 years old, it's the yoga of knowledge. But it's the inner guru inside. It's never outside. Nothing outside is what is creating the stress. It is what has got stuck inside of you. There is a fear, and you may tell me, well, my father was beating me up from 0 to 12. It doesn't matter that it happened 1,000 times. There is one time. There is one time that something happened inside of you and you froze. You paralyzed with fear, but not only just with the fear, you paralyzed with a belief, a false belief about who you are. And now I'm coming back to the soul. Who you are is a soul. It has infinite power. It has never been beaten up. It has never been broken. And it has no fear. And that's why I used for many, many years now this expression, stressful to soulful. More you connect with who you really are. And that's basically my work. I help you remember who you are. Who you are is peace, is power, and is absolute total joy. And where has it gone? When you got frozen as a child, something else happened. Many people that I've seen, thousands of people over all those years, they know what I work with. I work with not not the, you know, what is the stress that most people say fight or flight? Okay. And some will add freeze. But me, I work with freeze and fly out. And what do I mean by that? When a child freezes because of a trauma, because something he's seeing, he's hearing, or he's living, when a child freezes, it cannot fight, it cannot run, it freezes. But it also jumps out of the body, it flies out. And that other one, that double, goes hiding somewhere. My work has been to help bring those two together, those two child, the one that froze and the one that hides. And when you bring them together and allow the feeling, the emotion that got stuck inside to be released, the healing happens. And that healing, I'm not in charge of it. I'm not the one that is healing anybody. I'm providing a safe space. That's all what I'm doing. Providing a safe space so that the person goes from scared to the sacred, to the soul. If you look at the words scared and you move the C from that word, it becomes sacred. Now, C, the letter C, but it also means when you see, when you open your eyes, when you realize the truth of who you are, that you're not a victim, that you cannot have shame as a child, you're not guilty of anything. This gets transformed. The fear goes out. It's not that you will eliminate the fear completely, but a big part of it. And that is when you're slowly shifting in consciousness, because that is what I believe. Nothing else can release fear but a shift in consciousness. I'm not somebody that says I'm channeling or whatever. I'm very, very simple, but I'm trying to talk about my own experience with people. So, the first key to release that fear is let go of the tension in the body. If your body is rigid, is frozen with, constant tension, how can you reach the inside? How can you go into your subconscious? Because you have a huge armor. It's like trying to get into the vault of a bank without the combination. It's impossible. The walls are like that thick. So, the very, very first thing, you must release tension in your body. It's the first key. And if I did this online course, it's a very small online course. You do it at your rhythm. I talk about 5 keys because in the whole yogic tradition, we have 5 bodies. Okay. And those 5 keys are to help you reconnect with those five bodies. And so the very first key is release tension. You can find the link to my course down below. But why did I do that course? Because I realized all those years I always end up teaching everybody about these keys. And I did my best to structure it to help people already start and possibly completely eliminate their own fear. Because I tell you, I mean, the whole world is in big fear right now for at least a year and a half. And I've always said the most dangerous virus is the fear. Not only because it lowers your immune system, not only because it creates extreme nervous tension in your body, even for some people, panic attack, um, lack of concentration, extreme tiredness, may start addiction, may start a depression. All of these is the fear. Go to the root of the fear. Oh, I just saw in my chat, Nasira. Hello, Nasira. Bonjour, bonjour. Ça me fait plaisir. Yeah, she is in a French speaking country, North Africa. So I want to bring back the whole thing. Fear creates a head body split. There is a huge accumulation of energy in the head. You're not connected with your true self. And the power center of the human being is in the belly, not in the head. But the belly and brain, they need to communicate. In your belly are the emotions, the creativity, the relationship one-on-one, the money. Most people don't know that. Your emotions are there, but we are so afraid of connecting with our emotions that we keep on pushing them down. What is a depression? Pressuring down an emotion, terrified of feeling a specific emotion. So we're pressuring it down. A lot of the problems are created in the stomach because of the fear. We can't digest something, it has nothing to do with the food. Okay? So I really created this little online course, and I'm telling you that the very first key is to release tension, and the tool, the main tool, is breathing. Normal belly breathing. Go into my channel and in some of the videos and you will find it. Yeah. It's my first live in YouTube, and so I was trying possibly to give you too many things at the same time, but I sure hope that at least you're making the connection that stress is never outside, it's always inside. And from the moment that you can make the connection inside, find the fear, automatically you're starting to reuniting body, mind, and spirit, which is entirely yoga. Your soul, spirit, has infinite power. So I never, never like to hear that, oh, this disease is incurable. I don't believe it. Otherwise, it's like saying God or the universe, if you prefer the word the universe, or cosmic force, cosmic energy, has limitations. We are a spiritual being having a human experience, like the very great philosopher Teilhard de Chardin said a long time ago. We're not a human being having a spiritual experience. Don't forget that. And more you reconnect with your soul, more you reconnect with your real power, your purpose, and your passion. I was lucky enough years and years ago to come across some of the writing of Dr. David Frawley. His writings gave me some wordings to put towards what I was already doing. I had no understanding exactly what was happening. And there is one sentence that for me just got stuck here in my head. And it was, getting to the level of the soul is the key to all forms of healing. I will repeat it. Getting to the level of the soul is the key to all forms of healing. So I don't believe anybody heals anyone. We are facilitator. We are here to open doors, make you feel safe so that you can connect with your soul, and your soul is the healer. Don't ever forget that. I'm sure that I will do some more live, and I will be a little bit more flowing. I think I tried to pack too many things at once. I already went over the 30 minutes. And I know that right now, you know, the time for most people is precious. So earlier, I just want to finish with that. When I said that I wrote, "Where your deepest fear lies, your greatest talent hides," I started explaining to you I was so disconnected from my emotion for over nearly, well, 30, 32 years. And then since then, after a 4-year intense training with a master in energy, and I'm talking 35 years ago, you know, um, it was all under the table. Uh, I, without me looking for it, I became an expert in recognizing the power of the emotions. And my talent is to help people dive into their subconscious, go to the very root, pull it out, and transform it to be who you are meant to be. So I think I will have fun trying to do more live on a regular basis. So just wait for me, and please write any questions you may have, because like I said, I try to squeeze so many information so fast that maybe it was not too well weaved together. But I thank you for the 7 people that are there. And I definitely will continue. And I want to say thank you. There is someone from Czech Republic. And I will be happy to answer any question. I don't know how to pronounce your name, Snacky or something like that. And Nasira, thank you for being there. Yes, there should be a replay. I just hope that I will know how to do it. Okay, it will be in my channel, I'm sure. So I'm saying thank you for the few people that are there, and to all the other people that may watch it later on. And we will continue the conversation because this is where I came to, and I will not let it go. Fear. Oh, Susie, thank you, Susie. You can write me any question, okay? Take good care, and next time